Hi guys! Mabuhay! It's me, your girl, InDaynaMo! And welcome back to my Taglish channel! Hello guys! How are you all on the other side of the universe? So guys, for today's video, we are heading to the town hall of Bendigo, guys. So we will have a tour here for Bendigo town hall for today's video. What are we waiting for? Are you excited, guys? Happy watching!
Kumusta, ma'am, sir? You can take it if you want. I'm the cameraman. Dynamo.
Nagdaan pa na ang badaan. Sabi nga.
Mine. So when I take a photo on mine.
There we go. Door of Explorer.
Starting out here, next to the Cornish gold mine establishment, because of course Bendigo's development of the gold started in 1851, in fact, was the first discovery. Down here in Golden Square, by a couple of ladies who were doing their washing in the creek. And they were working on property what was in this area, the Ravenswood Run, and they were, as I say, doing their washing. They started seeing all this fine slippery stuff in the creek bed, and they gathered some of it up, finished up with half a sock full of gold nuggets. Apparently that was, they couldn't keep it quiet. And the word spread, and within 12 months or so, Bendigo had blossomed. Many thousands of people very quickly. So it wasn't long before they needed some council buildings and some public buildings and so on. And the very first town hall, or building that served as a town hall, or probably town offices, city offices at that stage, was the building that is on your right hand there.
I think it's just a reflection of your face.
Got a wavery top, a very basic weatherboard building, and it was down near where the fountain is today, down in that area of town. And the photo there
Tree.
of this area of town back in the 1850s. Bit of a creek running through, which is probably the remnants of the Bendigo Creek at the time, and other buildings around the wavery top that I'm aware of.
So is that the direction we're looking?
Yes, it's down near where the fountain is today. So basically directly through this area. In 1859, George Avery Clifford, who was the town clerk and the building surveyor, was asked to design a building on this site to serve as a city office, and was the beginnings of the town hall. And he actually built this end of the building, two-storey structure, which went down to about the beginning of the ramp. A two-storey structure, just this end of the building. And it looked like this. This photo is taken from down in Bull Street, down behind me here, looking up towards where we're standing. So the balcony you can see on the side of the building was on the bottom end of the building. you'll get a better appreciation of that when you go inside. So it was basically a two-storey structure, offices on the bottom and a large room at the top. Now of course it wasn't long before that was full. So about 5 years later he was asked to extend it. So we did, down to the end of the ramp. 2 stories again, some offices underneath and a council chamber on the top. And we'll visit that council chamber in a little while. And the building then looks like this one. And as far as I know, this photo was taken down Fourth Street looking up towards where we're standing.
There's a lot of reflection on the different screen.
5 years later, he said, look, it's too small, we need another extension. And so they added the rest of the building to it. This time they added a basement underneath which was the storage preparation. And they added a large space which was actually a corn exchange. And the building then looked like this.
What a difference.
It's getting bigger. It was just a red, basically a red brick construction. Wasn't particularly attractive, and people nicknamed it the brick kiln because it was fairly ordinary.
What they nicknamed it though?
The brick kiln. The brick kiln.
So this end wasn't brick like that?
Yes, it was.
It was all
It was pretty much the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the photos look as though they were a little bit different, but in
Yeah.
fact it was pretty much the same sort of construction. And the obvious question is why do you put a corn exchange in the town hall? And the answer to that is that this area of Bendigo in those days was the market part of town. So here's a photo there. You can see the town hall building fairly much in the centre, slightly to the right of centre. In that photo. And there are other long market-looking buildings in the area around here. So this was the area that the farmers bought their sheep and cattle and grain for trading purposes. And so having a large building where they could trade their grain probably wasn't such a silly idea after all. But, so that's where that started. So we're now up to the early 1870s. As I say, the building wasn't particularly and the council said, well, we need to turn this, if it's going to be the town hall, significant building, we need to turn it into something that really fits a city that's been developed because of gold. And so they asked this man, Caravanning, to turn that ordinary building into something significant. And it was he that added all of this decoration, which is concrete masonry over the bricks, and obviously did some modifications as well. But added all of this decoration. He added the mansard roof. You get a bit of this very steep-sided roof. See it on the tower down the end there. And he added a clock tower in the diagonal opposite corner of the building. And the inside was totally renovated as well. So he turned that building into this one here. We'll have a look at a couple of these.
Very reflection, I think.
Better when we get inside. You'll notice in this photo and also this next one, there's no clock.
There's a flag now.
And they didn't bother with the clock. Possibly because they ran out of money, but around about the same time, we're talking about the late 1880s, the post office building was being built and they had a clock in the clock tower in the post office. So they probably thought, well, we don't really need to do that. However, in about 2005, the Roadpool clubs in Bendigo said, look, it's time we had clocks in the clock tower. And they raised something like $40,000. Probably the council chipped in as well, I guess. And we've now got clocks around there in the clock tower. It wasn't until about 2005. Sorry?
2005.
2005.
Is that year correct for that photo? Or the farm still there in Canada?
It would be probably reasonably close. I won't guarantee exactly that.
So the clock's very
The clock,
recent.
yeah, the clock was about 2005. Yeah, so certainly not back in the 1980s.
Fun, I guess.
So,
I like this tower.
did a great job with that. Now, just very quickly, apart from the town hall, Barland's been responsible for literally hundreds and hundreds of buildings in Bendigo. We've got a couple of little guided tour maps, walking tour maps down in the visitor centre if you're interested in following and having a look at some of the buildings that he was responsible for. But lots of them in this central city area. Just to name a few of them. The Shamrock Hotel. We're actually on number 3 Shamrock because the first 2 burnt down. Marland himself was responsible for number 2 and one of his staff or contemporaries was responsible for the current building. Of course, this one is, well, if it's 1936, it might be number 2.
Someone loves that
The
building.
Capitol Theatre started life as the Masonic temple up in View Street. The original hospital building was one of Barland's. The gold mine hotel, which still stands out in the wrong road and looks very much like that photo.
There's a pie there, minus
Or
one.
It was opposite.
white colour these days.
That gold digging I went to.
Gillian's Catholic Church,
Yeah.
the largest weatherboard church
Jesus.
structure in the southern hemisphere, with one of his, as well as just basic private homes, and also the other
The beautiful unicorn mermaid made house.
of some of the more
Ito pala, you can do a post like that. Mr. Man.
He was on a number of boards, he made wine, he served on the council, was very much part of the life of Bendigo. But as you might have guessed his name, Varley, he was
Sikas
of
kang kani
German
Sir
descent.
Man.
And so in the First World War, he was interned, as a lot of other German people were. And he actually died in 1915. Now, I don't know whether he died in internment or potentially here. For a man that had contributed so much to the life of Bendigo, it's been rather awful thing to be doing. So, very
Mr. Man. Drinking alcohol.
Like it over ramps.
We've got a ramp there for you. Anybody else who would like to use it?
Welcome to the Bendigo Town Hall. Is a historic civic building located in the heart of Bendigo, Victoria, Australia. It occupies a prominent position in the central business district on Bendigo, making it easily accessible to residents and visitors. The Bendigo Town Hall was built in the late 19th century during a period of prosperity fueled by the gold rush. It was designed by architect William Charles Valland, who also designed many other notable buildings in Bendigo. The town hall was officially opened in 1878.
Atanda's mahal sabi. At chismis.
It's like Russia.
Very under inside there.
Very grand.
So
But,
we're now in a building that has been extensively renovated in the early 2000s. and the council received some funding at that stage to do that, and they decided at the time that they would restore the building basically back to Varland's design. So what we see around us is pretty much the original colours as far as we can determine. They scraped back all the paint and got back to what they believed were Varland's original colours, and more or less the layout that Varland had designed back in the late 1870s. As I said before, we started off with this end of the building, basically to just about here, with the balcony above us. So basically offices down here, and then there was a large space above us. The second stage of the building went down to the double doors with a council chamber upstairs and a couple of more offices down here. And then the Corn Exchange was added, Corn Exchange, which is now the main hall in the building. So as I say, it's basically back to Varland's design with some modern additions. So, for example, a couple of the offices are now toilets. We've now got a lift in the building, which allows people to gain access to the top floor. But the rest of it is basically as it was. And of course, things like the glass doors have been more recently added. Varland's main entrance to the building, if you've had a walk around or you know the building, is actually down the other end of the building. And that was the main entrance of the building. And it remained that way until the 1920s, about 1926, when they decided to put a stage in the main hall, and they made a main entrance through here. They removed one of these offices, and the main entrance to the building was from this end. If we go to this photo that I showed you before outside, which you possibly couldn't see so well, you can see on the right-hand end a veranda, and that veranda sheltered what became the main entrance of the hall. And people came in through there. When I first came to Bendigo in the 1970s, I can remember coming in through that end of the building. This building was the home of the Bendigo Competition Society for 70 odd years, I reckon. It was a long period of time. I can remember coming in to bring my daughter to play on the piano competition. It must have been during the 1980s, and we came in through that entrance. At that stage, the staircase to get upstairs was along here somewhere. We're going up this one, I don't quite remember. So it was in this position. It's now been restored to the original position the Varland had in. The stage was installed in the 1920s. I don't know if it was at the instigation of the Competition Society at that point, or whether it was just a decision the council made that they felt the building needed a stage. I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get inside.
May I ask what the timbers of the staircase?
Good question. I don't really know. I'm guessing there's a lot of blackwood used upstairs. It may be blackwood, but I'm not sure. But a beautiful staircase. The basement, down the stairs on either side here, go down into the basement. As I said before, that's always been a preparation and storage area. There is a kitchen down there, and the kitchen was the place where Meals on Wheels in Bendigo were prepared for a long period of time. And the volunteers came and collected them from here and distributed them. There's a second kitchen on this level, just into the right before you get into the hall, and there's a small kitchen upstairs that is adjacent to the reception room upstairs. You'll see around the building as we move around photos of some of the mayors of Bendigo wearing the mayoral chain. We'll talk about that a little bit as we go around. Okay, we'll head upstairs. So if you're able to manage the stairs, feel free. If you would prefer to use the lift, there is a lift just around the corner here.
There's the guy. Oh, ayan. Social. Oh no. I think it's just a council building. I think a block or two away. There's Matanda.
The Bendigo Town Hall serves as administrative headquarters for the City of Greater Bendigo, providing facilities for council meetings, civic functions, and community events. It is also a venue for weddings, concerts, and cultural performances.
Everybody here? Now, we're standing pretty much on what could have been the balcony of the original building in this area, and then the second stage was added. When they added the second stage, they decided that they needed some light down, natural light down into the bottom of the building. So there's always been a light well through this area. The original roof was in fact a pitched roof. And that needed to be replaced, I gather, at some stage, and it's now been replaced with this flat roof. But you can see the decoration around here gives the impression of being, to some extent, external decoration, because at least some of it was exposed to the outside at some stage in its life. Obviously, these additions with the glass and so on are recent, and they were done in the renovation in the early 2000s. The lights in this area are rather interesting. Do they remind you of anything in this shape?
What, pine cone?
Pine cones, yeah, I get pine cones regularly. Banksia proteas. Yep. So they're in fact the design is actually called an artichoke design.
Oh, that's it. Think of the word.
And obviously quite modern, and the question you might ask is why we've got a modern light fitting in a historic building. And apparently the rule of thumb is if you can't find what was there originally or imitate it, then you go for something stunning from the modern era. I think they've done a pretty good job with the artichokes actually. Over here on the wall we've got the municipal crest, and back in the earlier days that municipal crest is based on the English coat of arms, as you might guess, and councils were able to use that as their crest if they wished and put their own motto underneath it. And the Bendigo motto, progress, is there underneath that crest, and that used to hang in the original council plan, and I'll show you a photo there a little while. I'm going to move into this room here for a minute.
It's a big chair.
Oh, yeah, very grand. It's for King first. The Gold King. The Gold King.
Feel free to sit down and rest your legs. So this room, of course, was part of the original building. It started like a police court, the first stage of the building, and then it was divided into smaller spaces, smaller offices. I've spoken to somebody who came up, you remember coming up into this area of the building to pay their rent. So it's that sort of function in those days. When they divided it up, they put in a false ceiling, probably just above the windows, covered up all this beautiful decoration above us. And that was only discovered again when they did the renovation in 2000. Again, we're back to what we believe are the original colours in this place. So the only heating in the place originally were the two fireplaces.
You see the bobbin standing there.
Yeah.
The stand up.
And it's now used as the council chamber, so we can see it set up more or less as the council has it for their meetings. Mayor sits up in the centre of this table on the right hand side. The other 8 councillors sit around the other tables, and along with the directors of the council operation who also attend the meeting. We've got a number of photos of past mayoresses of Bendigo. We've had a number of female mayors in the last few years. The current mayor is a female, and a number of them have been keen to acknowledge the role that women have played in the municipality. So these ladies weren't mayors in their own right. Their husbands were the mayor, and they obviously supported him in his role, but they've acknowledged that ladies in
Like a necklace like that. The necklace.
We've also got some more photos of some of the mayors of Bendigo around the room, and you'll note a number of them wearing the mayoral chain. This gentleman up here, Councillor Connolly, didn't have the chain, whether it wasn't there at the time or whether he just didn't put it on, I'm not sure. But there is a particular tradition in Bendigo that with the appointment of each mayor, then their initials are put into a link in the chain. So the actual chain has individual links. Each of the links are different because they're made up of the initials of the particular mayor at the time. This replica over here, all of the links are identical, but in the actual chain they are different.
So what length is the
Yes.
female?
That's longer and longer. Photo there of the last mayor of the city of Bendigo,
it wraps around twice.
John Balsley.
I think
And
it's
you can
long.
see the
Then
chain
my
by the time he was mayor was a double
the necklace like that they wear.
length, much longer than something.
Triple length.
And although we can't really
Covers
see
the
on
tits.
the photo, each of the links are different.
Are the men wearing some sort of fur?
Well, clearly the
Yeah, the
robes
upper,
have changed.
the lion is wearing like
I guess over time those two deteriorating.
sea lion.
Is it? Right. So the current robe is similar to this one in the case. That's a replica of the current robe. And they use it on whatever
She's
ceremony.
nice wala to habakawa.
But getting back to John Balsley, as I say, he was the last mayor of the city of Bendigo. Back in 1993, our Premier, Jeff Kemp, said there were too many councils. In Bendigo, we had the city of Bendigo, we had the borough of Eagle, the Shire of Morong, and so on. We had 5 municipalities in the area. And he said, you don't need that many. And he amalgamated those and made the city of Greater Bendigo. So, and that happened around the state. So Balsley was the last mayor of the city of Bendigo. We now have a new mayoral chain,
Oh, look at that.
which acknowledges
It's very-
the
very close
municipalities that form the
It's a
city of
bird.
Bendigo.
Human.
All badges there.
Si Papa.
And you'll also see a
Lot
little
of
bit of the
city na
chain
pala
there
eh.
with a couple of them with initials in them and a couple that are yet to be filled. So again, the tradition is
That will be
continuing.
heavy.
As each
Put
new
on the
mayor is
chain.
appointed, they get a link in the chain. I don't know if mayors are appointed for 1 year. If they get a second term when they get another link, or whether I guess they probably do. So a number of our mayors have served more than 1 year, not necessarily consecutive.
Can I just make one comment, please?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the This is the youngest mayor ever in the city's history, for what I did with him, and he was 29 years and 3 months, and no one else has passed that in the sense of youngness. They thought someone had it, and no man had his. And I politely told them that I know Connolly holds the record, and as well, he was born in Bendigo as an interest. First native born boy, and the youngest, and he died from a brain aneurysm on his third floor, which was just tragic. And I think that's why he hasn't got the mayoral chain on. The most decision making. He was just really, really intelligent. He was heavily involved in Federation and probably may have become our first Prime Minister, but he died. But an amazing man. Sorry, I'll give it back to David.
Just a couple more things before. This room, as well as being the council chamber, is now used for lots of receptions. If you're giving a little conference and this would be a suitable space, you can hire it from the council. There's a little kitchen at the other end to allow assistance with catering. The furniture in this room is interesting too. Made by a local craftsman by the name of Michael Coman. Mainly blackwood and messmate, and a very distinctive grain around the edges of fur messmate. Clearly made in a modular way so that the furniture can be arranged in whatever way.
Overhead lighting is a blessing under curse, isn't it?
It's a photo. Ito siguro niyan. It's for people.
Only one link. I found them a hot chismis. Oh, isn't that nice? It's lovely.
This is good for papa.
When they put this second part of the building on, they didn't get the level of what the same.
Oh, I'm not staying there. Can't wait to head.
And come in, you're welcome to have a seat, and I do need a man for the day. Come in, come and be a man.
I'm still gobsmacked. I just love this
Oh,
room.
all married.
You've been in here many times.
I've been with Captain Mayor, yes.
Within the town hall, there is a council chamber where local government meetings and proceedings take place. The chamber is often adorned with historic furnishing and decorative elements.
I'm the mayor.
For meetings with the council from the late 1880s until the very last meeting, which was held in
Wheels in it.
March of 1994, just before the amalgamation. The furniture in here again has been restored by Michael Coman, the man I mentioned a moment ago. Clearly, the councillors' desks here have got new tops on them, whereas the mayor's desk has the original leather top on it. So I'm assuming that the original council desk had a similar top to the one that's on the mayor's table. Obviously, the council has to mutton up too much, and they deteriorated over time. A beautiful room, and it's been extensively renovated by this lady, Barbara Schaefer, who is an art and building restorer. And she was responsible for the work in here. Again, she scraped back the paint and whatever to get back to what she believed was the original. And this imitation marble finish is what she came up with. And so she restored all that work. She restored the murals all around the room as well. So that was done after the rest of the building was renovated. This is sort of the last room that was completed. We've got some interesting features around the room. We've got the Prince of Wales feathers over in this corner with his motto, "Ik Teum," or "I serve."
Yeah, that's right.
Why we've got the Prince of Wales feathers, I'm not sure, but a number of different Prince of Wales have visited Bendigo over time. Charles and Diana were here in 1983, I think it was, and an earlier Prince of Wales back in the late 1800s. I believe one of them had a very interesting visit in that they had a street parade for him, an evening street parade, a number of illuminated floats, one of which was a sailing ship apparently, and lots of candles around it to light it up. Of course, a bit windy and all the sails went up and the whole thing burnt down. The next night they had a ball here for him, and they had a big marquee out the side, and again it was all candles. Apparently it burnt down as well. On the boat. Oh, right, okay. Michelle is a historian in Bendigo, that's why she probably knows more about some of this stuff than I do. We've got the British coat of arms over on this wall, and that of course goes back to the British heritage. And then we've got the Bendigo coat of arms here. The shield is divided into 4 sections. This top left-hand section represents a gold reef, and then the pick and shovel of the pioneers and gold miners, and then the fruit and grain of the region. Bendigo's progress motto underneath. And over on this corner, we've got a representation of the Australian coat of arms. And if you know your Australian coat of arms, you'll say, hang on. That's not quite right, is it? And the animals
Wait a second, girl.
looking outwards rather than looking inwards. And I did a bit of research on the Australian coat of arms, and apparently it was developed
This is
from a thing
black.
called the Bowman flag, which is top left-hand representation on your iPad. And then shortly after Federation, they had what effectively became a temporary coat of arms for a period of time. And then the current coat of arms, which we will be familiar with now. So now the animals are on the other side.
South Australia,
facing in
Western Australia.
shield.
Victoria.
So this representation here must have been done in the early 1900s, shortly after Federation, I guess. And it has effectively become quite a historical piece of artwork. It's obviously different to any of those representations. It's somewhat similar to that 1908, 1912 one. But again, it's different to that too. So I don't know the particular history of that, but it's certainly there.
Which one is used better all the time?
The one that's used now is the one on the bottom of the back screen. Yeah, that's the current one. A couple of other interesting features in the room. If we look down here, we've got double pillars in both corners. So if we go down to this end, we've got a double pillar here and a single pillar in the other corner. Why they did that, who knows? Is the room not quite rectangular? Did they think they couldn't fit in? But then this panel here is a bit wider, certainly than this side. So they probably could have fitted it had they wished to. So why it's not there, I don't know. Let's just go to a couple of photos of the council meeting in this room. Here we are back in 1933. And then what was the last meeting of the City of Bendigo Council in this room in, I think it's actually 1994. Now the room was set up in reverse to what it is at the moment, with the mayor down that end. And we can tell see the Prince of Wales feathers to the right of the man. And notice in that photo, there's a door under the Prince
I
of Wales
think this
feathers.
is for the too big.
For a person as you came in, there is a door just out there, but it no longer comes into this room. So it's been removed in the renovation. Now, I don't know why they did that. Maybe they thought, oh, we should complete that mirror or whatever. But the door clearly was always there. It looks from this photo that the double door at the end is new, as is the door behind me here. So
This
I
is
suspect
Caravanning.
they needed that door for access into the room.
Earlier
So
than-
it's been noticed as well. But why it's been removed, I'm not sure. You'll see the other side of it when we go across. Now, you'll notice in that photo too the municipal crest hanging above the mayor's table. There we have it. My understanding is that this was more a ceremonial meeting, the last meeting of the council. They came back to this room because prior to that time, the city offices over here, there's a new building being built, which replaced the old city offices, and the council had been meeting over there for a good period of time because I think this room was too small.
Is this a newspaper?
But still, it's a beautiful room, it's been beautifully restored.
Is this a newspaper photograph? Just 93 and it's in black and white.
I'm not sure.
So
who
it's
took the
not
photo.
staged.
I don't know.
Stage for the press, isn't it?
But the last meeting was
And
definitely.
we do believe it's the last meeting of the council in this room, which, as I understand it from some of the reading I've done, is March '94, not '93. There's another little interesting feature in that photo. The councillor second from the right, not the very front one, but the one next along, is Councillor Rod Fife. He was on the council clearly in 1993-94. In fact, I think he was first elected in 98 or something. And he's still on the council. Our longest serving councillor. He's been there at least 4 times, I think. Very distinctive hairstyle, and very huge servant of Bendigo Council.
May I ask who the mayor was there at this time?
That's Councillor Balsley that I mentioned before.
Yeah, okay.
He was the last mayor of the city of Bendigo,
That's Ian earlier.
chairing probably one of his last meetings before the council was replaced. Council was replaced by commissioners for 3 years, so 3 appointed commissioners before they then brought in an elected council again. And there was, as there was around the state, quite a bit of angst about the fact that this amalgamation was happening and outlying areas wouldn't get the service that they deserved when they had their own councils. But on the other hand, there was a lot of argy-bargy about funding. For example, if the council here decided we need a new library, everybody in the area was using the library, so perhaps we'll ask a contribution from the outlying councils. Some would agree readily, yes, that's a good idea. Others would say, well, no, that's your responsibility, you do it.
We had that in
So,
Craigburn and Berwick, exactly
And the same sort of thing happened all around the state, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Whereas now with one council, well, the decision is made and off we go. Okay, well, I think we're going to do it Just as we're going out, this feasibility we need to include. I've talked with Councillor Fife about what it was used. He doesn't know. It had the lid on it, looks like something's been screwed down underneath it. So whether it was recording equipment or a PA system or something like that, I thought it might have been a broken box, but then there's no slot on it. So it's probably just,
To contain the votes, otherwise you've lifted up the votes would all spill onto the floor.
well, this all this off, so I presume it's
Historic
Food.
Sometimes.
I think this building has been used as a repository for interesting bits of furniture that the council doesn't know quite what to do with.
David, the seams at the bottom of the panels are just decorative, they're not representative.
Yes, I meant to mention those. We don't know why they've chosen those seams. They're almost South Sea Island or something like that. One down here is got looks like the Loch Ness Monster down in that one. There is
And I think it's like a stage or a function room.
well, yes, the word race is originally, yes. But they haven't been.
The Bendigo Town Hall is an impressive example of Victorian-era architecture, featuring a combination of Renaissance Revival and Second Empire architectural styles. It is characterized by its grand facade, ornate detailing, and prominent clock tower.
It's a very grand chair. The Queen of Hearts.
Now, of course, buildings such as this have often have a checkered history, and probably at the time that the council built across the road, this building became less used than it had been previously, and they even at one stage thought about selling it. At one stage, there was a suggestion of it become a cinema. And then in the 60s, they did a report. They engaged a firm of architects to do a report on the building, and there apparently was a suggestion of something like £40,000 needed to be spent on it. And their report said the building was functionally unsatisfactory because of its age and lack of maintenance. Then restoration costs would be prohibitive because of neglect and structural cracking. Even with restoration, its life expectancy would be 10 to 20 years. And further, it wasn't sufficiently architecturally distinguished to warrant preservation. So, fortunately, the council either ignored it or it didn't do anything about it. And the building has been retained and now renovated.
The Bendigo Town Hall is listed on the Victorian Heritage Register and is recognized for its architectural significance and historical importance to the community. While the Bendigo Town Hall primarily serves as a government building, it is open to the public during certain hours, allowing visitors to admire its architecture and historical features. Guided tours may also be available upon request.
Again, shopping or something.
This one.
Left him to finish the last project. When she got back, he finished, he had for the scaffolding and whatever, and she looked up and said, oh, you've missed a bit. And this is one of these projects, and the section either side of the rosette in the corner, which he hadn't put any gold leaf on. And it remained unfinished until about 2 to 3 years ago, when this whole corner had to be repainted because of the damp that had got into the building. And so the gold leaf in this section had to be redone, and they picked up memory of this rosette here, and they picked that up and finished that off. That's good. But it was one of the challenges I had in my children.
They all have a hand on the side.
Just a little bit of the history of this space. First of all, this photo I have here for you. We thought originally this may have been Otto in the black suit, but we now believe this photo is probably a photo of a repainting of this room in the early 1900s. So it was certainly a renovation that was happening in here rather
So we're looking at this way. Because that window at the top
the
there.
chandeliers that held in this space originally. I think they might have been a bit better than the current version, but anyway, as it might be. The building had fallen into a fair bit of disrepair. When I first walked into the building in the 1970s, 80s, the doors were painted white. They painted the whole place was, a whitey creamy colour, as you can see from that photo. Clearly the paintwork had deteriorated over time. They'd actually painted out the murals at the bottom, which seems absolutely sacrilegious, but they had. Clearly they must fall into disrepair and rather replace them.
Painted over those ones.
I mentioned the stage. So the stage was down at this end of the building, and that's one of the entrance had to be pushed down to this end. So there was a stage at this end, not a very big one clearly. You can see when you go around the corner. But that was a stage that was used for the whole event. I mentioned the competition side of
Why the fire is on the top?
still had a very large festival run for over more than a month. We did
That one is still there.
Oh, yeah, but painted over those ones.
Is this green?
Just the high school place, I think.
It's on the 96th. This year was the 96th. Yeah. So a lot of work had to be done in the building, cracking and so on.
Small Jesus.
This wall still wood, balcony, and they copied this end wall, then also used photos to restore that area. Now the room is extensively extensively used for all sorts of things. Here's a photo of the car show room.
Jones.
Resident
That's the one here.
It's obviously keeps the dress arrangement by all the things.
A lot of short hair. Cinderella.
We can see people on the balcony there watching the proceedings.
Still there now.
Here's another photo
They
of
put
another
a
bench.
very
So
colorful.
serious.
Serious side of it.
Yeah, because the camera before have the explosive. It's the mayor. Oh, this is the new one now. Oh, they covered it. I think the one here. That's the one.
Since it's been renovated, so it can be high, those sort of events, markets, craft markets,
It's a lot of back. So much back. Baby got back.
Sister Salon.
So much back.
This is Sister Disco. They dance. Oh, it's a choir. No back. It's in the photo. It's this one. It's not here, this one here.
as you can imagine, the acoustic.
The town hall regularly hosts a variety of events, functions, and exhibitions, including art shows, community forums, and public meetings. It is a versatile venue that can accommodate a range of activities and gatherings.
And the original staircase for the original balcony was up along this wall. Clearly, when this new one's been replaced, they put the staircase in here. So it's not the original staircase, but head up.
Another more. I'd love it more. Yeah, matanda. Yes, you are. Yeah, here's the view outside, guys. Oh, there's a post office there too, the clock. That's probably why you didn't need two clocks.
Where's the town hall of Bendigo?
Here's just one of the new buildings over there somewhere. It's not like this, it's probably just like a modern council type building.
One of the most distinctive features of Bendigo Town Hall is its clock tower, which rises above the main entrance. The clock tower is topped with a dome and a flagpole, and it has become an iconic symbol of Bendigo.
Imagine standing up here and watching what's going on down there. I suspect too at times they use this area for the door. Possibly for the door happening down there. It may have been used for the orchestra. There's one more little room, we'll just stick our head in here as well.
It's for stage lighting and all that kind of stuff.
That's some of the power range.
Microphones and things there.
I don't know how much of it
Oh yeah, that must lead up into the...
This room's interesting from a couple of points of view. Clearly not much renovations happened in here, so it gives you a little bit of an idea of the state of the building before the early 2000 renovation. The stairs go up to the clock tower, and that's somewhere I'm not allowed to take you. But, if you stand over by this window and look up there, you can see some of the original brickwork that Barland obviously organised. Now it's clearly sort of internal brickwork and not particularly well done, but it gives you an idea of what that original brickwork of the whole building, why this people call this the brick kiln before Barland did his work. If it looked anything like that.
These two the original floorboards?
These would be the original floorboards, yes. Yep. So similar probably to the floorboards that are in the hall that are now covered with carpet. And I was just chatting to Michelle before about these rooms. There's 4 of them, one on each level here and one on the other side. But all got fireplaces, so it looked like they were used as offices at some point. I haven't been able to find out on any of the old original plans what their purpose was, but I suspect they may have been used as offices. Maybe initially, when this was a corn exchange, it might have been staff that ran the corn exchange, or later on, some of the council staff might have operated out of these spaces.
The front doors downstairs, are they kind of original?
That's the original entrance. Yeah, I believe
It
there's
seems
doors
very
on.
understated.
It is fairly understated, but it is, when you go outside and look from the outside, yes, it does sort of give you the idea of a fairly major entrance. And it's still used as an entrance, depending on what's being built. The other little comment about the electrical fitting that's in here, I believe that
Costa. Oh, so fireplace.
I've never been up this far.
We don't go here. Let's see the front now. Oh my god, maybe late earlier. We passed by.
we'll head downstairs again.
For information on visiting the Bendigo Town Hall, including opening hours, guided tours, and upcoming events, visitors can check the official website of the City of Greater Bendigo or contact the Town Hall directly.
The Bendigo Town Hall is not only a functional government building but also a significant landmark and cultural icon that reflects the history and heritage of Bendigo. It stands as a statement of the city's prosperous past and its ongoing role as a vibrant regional center.
The patron saint of Christmas.
All right, we'd like to head out. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. What? There's many heads. Yeah, but he's all the way around. He's like above those ones too. He's above all there. Bearded man. Walang Jesus. No, it's not Jesus. What are you saying, Zeus? Oh, you have to give over your iPad now. You can't play Candy Crush. Yeah, no Candy Crush. Oh, yeah, that's for, yeah, Matanda. You can take photos of it. But you have to hold it right in front of you though.
Beautifully done.
So that brings us to the end of the tour. Thank you very much for being part of it.
Well, thank you very
The
much.
question, apparently, how often do these run? We generally run these twice a week, Tuesday morning and Sunday morning. They're advertised online,
Yep.
dependent on having the building available, and secondly, whether there's a guide available. Normally, this building is reasonably available, particularly during the week. Our other tour, some of you I think are on the Sandhurst jail tour this afternoon. That building is so heavily booked that we have difficulty getting it to show people through.
You're doing another one on this afternoon?
It's tomorrow morning, I know, because we're going tomorrow.
Are you?
There's another one tomorrow morning of the jail.
Yes, okay.
So, all through the visitor centre.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, really a pleasure.
All right, if anybody needs the toilet before you go, you're welcome to use the toilet.
So, that's it guys. That's the Bendigo Town Hall dito sa Bendigo, located in the heart of Bendigo, guys. Is a historic civic building, guys, dito sa Bendigo. So, we have a guided tour and I think it took us 60 to 65 minutes. You will see about the Bendigo Town Hall, the history, the architecture of the town hall, guys, the clock tower, the function, and the council chamber as well. And you can see where we held the meetings of the official, or the mayor, the other people who have a position in Bendigo, guys. So nakita niyo naman, we also have the public access, the heritage site, and then they can also do events and functions here. If you remember and if you saw earlier, the assemble like a function hall for your function events like birthdays, weddings, and other events. People of the universe. So guys, it's very fancy inside. They also do some renovation. They restore some of the area inside of the Bendigo Town Hall, and the other area also they just restore, and that's some of the parts of the town hall, guys. They preserve it, and some of the parts as well on the other side. That's the original area. As you saw earlier, we just had a tour guide, and then we tour you at the ground floor and the first floor of the Bendigo Town Hall, guys. So they have a 2-story. And then you can see also the clock tower from outside and inside of the Bendigo Town Hall. For today's video, guys, I will put their segments in my description box down below, and you can check it out for yourself, people of the universe. That's the end of our video for today. I hope you enjoyed watching. You learned something today. Plus, you had fun for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for supporting our video. And mega love shout out to each wonderful, beautiful people of the universe. Thank you from the bottom of my hypothalamus. Please like if you did enjoy our video for today. And please do subscribe if you haven't yet. And don't forget to hit the bell button for you to get notified for our next video. And please comment down below if you like this video pa. And see you when I see you on my next one. Bye bye, guys. Be good, you take care, be safe, and mwah. Cha la.